to our first session on this week's topic of men and women in spiritual culture. Since there is a few people here who I'm meeting the first time, I think maybe I will just quickly introduce myself a little bit. So, as you know, my name is Devaki. I am originally from Germany, but I never lived there as a devotee. I joined in Australia in 1985, so that's pretty much exactly 30 years ago. And I was for 4 years in the ladies' ashram there in Australia, getting training and all the basic things of spiritual practice. And then I was married for 10 years. And during that time, by Krishna's arrangement, we pioneered the first more organized temple in the former Soviet Union in Latvia, which is the most western part of former Russia. It just so happened that we ended up there. And it was a very wonderful adventure in pioneer spirit there. We really started from nothing. We had no deities, no temple, no saris, no spices, absolutely nothing. And then gradually so many things happened, and we had quite a buzzing temple there with about 75 brahmacharis and 2 brahmacharis. People came from all over the former Soviet Union. They heard, oh, there's some devotees there from Australia. So many people came, and it was a very wonderful experience, which helps me now so much in my preaching, actually. So, and then 1999, my former husband decided to take a little break from Krishna consciousness, and he stopped practicing, he married a non-devotee, and so on. So then we went different ways. And I decided to move on into the renounced phase of life. So while I was married, I was looking a little different. Silk sari and bedclothes and earrings and nose rings and everything. So it's good to go properly through all these different phases of life. And since 1999, I'm living the life of a traveling preacher. I mainly spent 5-6 months in India and Bangladesh, and 6-7 months in Europe mainly, and Ukraine, and Moldova, and also Germany, Sweden, Croatia, Slovenia, Italy, so many little countries are there. So my main 2 topics in my humble attempts of preaching is, first of all, the holy name. That's why we have every year we have a holy name retreat in Ekachakra. Some of you have been there. I'm very convinced that we have to make some effort to get on deeper levels of chanting in japa as well as in kirtan. So in many places where I'm visiting, we conduct these holy name retreats. So and my second main focus, which actually very nicely connects with the chanting of the holy name. This is the topic of spiritual culture, because actually spiritual culture is like the foundation to chanting. So spiritual culture, I received some insights into this topic in my time in Bangladesh. Because for the last 15 years I've been spending there quite some time, 2-3 months per year or something. And Bangladesh, very special place. It's East Bengal. It's actually the place where most of Mahaprabhu's associates come from. Rupa, Sanatana Goswami, Narasimha Thakur, Punari Tridini, even Mahaprabhu's parents, Jagannath Mishra, Satyamata, they're all from that part of Bengal. In fact, Mahaprabhu appeared in Satyamata's womb when they were living over there. So people in Bangladesh have that mood of Mahaprabhu appeared in our country. This is how they feel, because it's a fact. He appeared in Sachi Mother's room over there. And only 2 months before he appeared in this world, they moved to Navadvip, the same. And not wanting to promote Islam or something, but the fact that Bangladesh is a Muslim country, that actually has preserved our Vaishnava culture, amazingly. Because as we know, the Muslims are not so in front of all these modern Western ideas. So Bangladesh is very traditional. It's almost like a different planet actually when you travel there. It's almost like time stood still since Mahaprabhu's appearance, or maybe even since Krishna's appearance. Yeah, it's so traditional. The culture is so intact there. And when I'm there, I'm only with the locals. You see, I'm traveling with them, I'm preaching with them, I go and book distribution with them, I eat with them, I live with them, I do everything with them. There's no Western devotees living there. And that really gave me such deep insights into this topic of culture. I experienced how actually spiritual culture is Krishna's system. And gradually this has of course inspired my preaching, and then a few years ago I put these systematic courses together which I'm giving in many parts of the world. So, and this Men and Women in Spiritual Culture is actually one of the main courses. It really, yeah, it is almost a little mind-blowing. Once we discover, you know, how Krishna's system is actually meant to function. And we will discover how far away we actually have already gone from Krishna's system. And we will realize that all our social problems which we are facing in society at large and also within our ISKCON society, you know, like divorce, single motherhood, neglected children, child abuse, violence towards women, and the list is endless. We will discover how these are all global reactions for not following Krishna's system. Because in Krishna's system, these things don't have any place. And I'm very convinced that unless we make some effort to get some insights into this, it will be very difficult for Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement to become strong and stable and powerful. Because actually people in the world outside there, especially in the Western world, people are so frustrated. So they're so sick and tired of this material life. They're looking for some alternatives. People are looking. Even amongst the non-devotees, there's some people who realize something is really going wrong here. But they don't have access to Krishna's system. They don't know Krishna's system. But we have. Prabhupada explains it all in the Bhagavatam. You will see. So, and you know, this is actually what Krishna consciousness is meant to give to the world, that we can show humanity how actually human life is meant to be lived. In stability, in harmony, so that we have a solid foundation underneath our feet, so we can wholeheartedly develop our relationship with Krishna. Because as long as we are facing so many social problems and disturbances, very difficult to really concentrate on chanting on a deeper level, very difficult. But then, if we really get to this point where we can actually demonstrate to the world how human life should be lived, then actually Krishna consciousness really has something to show, right? Otherwise it is mere theory, you know, as long as we cannot practically demonstrate like that. Yeah, so much just as a tiny little introduction. So I'm just thinking what we maybe could do is, I will ask you to turn to your neighbor and simply share why you have come here. What are you expecting here? I have given already some little ideas. It's just, also so you get to know each other a little bit here, because I think many people don't know each other here at all. So just to warm up a little bit, just turn to your neighbor, share, why are you here? What made you come here? Okay? Just 2 minutes. Oh, by the way, these little tables, they are for you. Yes. Maybe you can even take them on your lap or something. Are there even more there in that room?
Yeah.
If we need more, we can even get more. So, anybody wants one of those tables on your lap, or are you all comfortable here? Huh? You would like to have one? Would you use the table? Yes, because yes, is he getting more or what? Yes? Okay. Okay, so before we get into our topic, let me mention a couple of little words. So first of all, these 5 days course is a very systematically developed course. It is really building up one lesson on the other. And it actually is directed towards stimulating an internal transformation. Yeah. So the more, regular you will take part, the more you will get out of it. If you just come once here and then after 3 days, one more time, you will not get much out of it. But if you're here every day, then there's a good chance, something will happen there in your worldview, and you start seeing actually the world with slightly different eyes after this. One thing is, you will, I think, have the materials in front of you. Just a little norm of behavior. We want to inquire in a submissive and humble mood, and not in a challenging and provocative mood. Why is that? What happens when we ask, when we inquire in a challenging and provocative mood? What's happening then? If you want to say something, we are doing this here like in school. We are lifting our hand because, I like to be a little interactive. And if people just shout out, then the same people who are the loudest and quickest always will say something, but others will not get a chance to make a contribution. So if you want to say something, lift your hand and I will call upon you. So what is happening when we inquire in a challenging and provocative way? Who is taking part in the discussion?
You stop the flow of mercy from the speaker, It's always Tadbidi Panipati, Then Puripusta.
Yes. The flow of mercy is stopped. Why? Who else is taking part?
Ego.
Yes, the false ego. Yes. And false ego has this effect. It blocks the ears, it blocks the intelligence. You cannot understand, you cannot hear. And not only that,
usually the one who's challenging, he already knows the answer to himself. He just wants to provoke instead of really find out the answer.
exactly. If we inquire in a challenging mood, we think we know already, and we are not open to hear and understand, but we just challenge. And this false ego involvement actually contaminates the whole atmosphere, actually. And sometimes even the speaker gets also affected and then enters back on the false ego, and then everything is lost and spoiled, you know. So, you know, because this course does sometimes touch a little bit on the false ego. It does. Especially for the ladies, but also maybe for the men. So we want to park our false ego outside there and not invite the false ego to take part here in the course. Right? Also, we want to ask questions only connected with the topic discussed. Because we have so many topics ahead of us, it's quite an action-packed course, and we simply cannot afford to get off track by discussing topics which are not exactly related. There might be good questions, good topics, but we will simply not have the time. And sometimes not so easy for me to say, oh sorry, no, this is not the point. So you have to help me to keep the discussion on track. Otherwise we end up somewhere else and then we don't have time to discuss what we want to discuss. So now one thing is, a few more little things to, you know, create the foundation for the course. This course is not meant to establish what a man should do and not do, what a woman should do and not do. It's not meant to do that. It is simply meant to give insights into spiritual culture. Because spiritual culture is Krishna's culture, it's Krishna's system. And it actually has universal principles, which are actually, yeah, they're valid in any time, place and circumstance, actually, the principles. And I'm the kind of person, I'm firmly convinced, if we understand the principles, then the application will come automatically. But if we don't understand the principles, we will forever be confused over the little detail. Oh, this situation, that situation, what should I do in this situation? I don't like to spoon feed my audience with solutions and details. I just like to give insights into the universal principles. And I leave it up to my audience to think, you know, how to apply things in which situation. Right? So we are not establishing what is right and what is wrong. People often misunderstand this, you know, and they ask questions, oh, but how should we do in this situation? Oh, no, I'm not here to give the solution what to do in which situation. I'm simply trying to give insight how are things in spiritual culture and comparing that with materialistic culture so that my audience gets empowered to make a conscious choice. How much of which culture we want in our life. Huh? Yes. That is an important thing to understand, and we probably will come back to this every now and again. Yes. So, and we want to discover insights, new concepts, you know. So that means we have to have an open mind and an open heart. Otherwise we cannot discover new concepts, new, you know, thoughts. Yes. So we have to come with an open mind, open heart. We should not think, oh, I know already. You know, I know, these two words, I know, is probably what blocks us the most from transforming. Right? And also we want to pretend that we are, you know, we are not men, we are not women, we are spirit souls, and we simply want to understand these species of life called men and this species of life called women, without identifying too much with this, because then very easily also the ego gets in our way. So let's just pretend we were talking about, this different species of life here called men and women. And we're just open for new discoveries. And I can already, foresee there will be some moments which are a bit of a heart surgery there. But I like to do this, I don't like to offer some spiritual entertainment here, but I like to stimulate that, something is moving there in the heart. Right? And sometimes there's some little pain there also, but we want to transform, we don't want to just keep it all as it is. Right? Okay, so let us, this just one thing in connection to Krishna's system and our social problems. Our disease in these modern days is that we think Krishna's system is old-fashioned and outdated. And we think our system is better than Krishna's system. That's the problem. And then we get global reactions on all levels. And we try to fix them but why not go back to Krishna's system? It works. Actually, it's Krishna's system. So, but we will see in due course of this course that we are rather far away from it already in many aspects. And this Krishna system seems rather foreign to us. Okay. So, let us go to our introduction here to spiritual culture. It is helpful if you follow up a little bit on the notes. That will keep you more attentive and you will be able to keep more on track. And sometimes there's some little dotted lines where you can take some notes, fill in something and so on. So that simply helps the concentration. And usually we do have a little break. We take a break around 4:30 or 20 to 5 for 10 minutes, just to stretch your arms and legs and so on. So, introduction to spiritual culture. Let us understand what is actually culture. How does it come about? What is it affecting? So, to some extent we can say, yes, every country has its culture. There's South Indian culture, Bengali culture, Russian culture, Italian culture with pizza and spaghetti. And so, to some extent, every country has its culture, but nevertheless, we can say there is only two main cultures in this world, which is what? Don't shout out, we are here at school, please lift your hand. But you said already? Okay, say it loud, Prabhuji.
Material and spiritual.
Yes, material culture, spiritual culture. And to some degree, we find these two cultures actually in every country. To some degree. And interestingly, to understand it is very much connected with the standard of life. In those countries where the standard of life is higher, materialism sets in more and pushes spiritual culture aside. Right? And in those countries where life is more simple, people are more poor, their spiritual culture is still more preserved, even in the modern days. Yeah. So now, yes, without looking at your papers, let me ask you, how is culture coming about? Any idea? Because it's written on the paper, so don't look for now. Just to make you think a little bit. How is culture developing? How is it coming about? Any idea?
It can be given from above, or it can be just people just develops naturally. So one is spiritual culture and comes from Krishna.
Yes, develops naturally. Well, how does it develop naturally? It develops by what? Generation from generation, it is passed down. Yeah, that's a very important aspect. But just globally, what is spiritual culture, or what is culture based on? Very globally. Yes? Communication, yeah, we're getting close. I think just to save a little bit of time. Family tradition, also true. But more globally, it is based on a certain worldview, a certain ideology, a certain philosophy. So by living a certain philosophy, you get the culture, right? By applying practically a certain worldview, a certain ideology, we get culture forming in different parts of life. Right? Yes, yes. And not only that, actually culture is also propagating that same worldview. It is feeding back that same ideology and philosophy. Right? And it also feeds that worldview back. It reinforces it and it propagates it. Yes. We don't even realize how deeply it propagates this worldview. You know, it's subtle. We think we make our own decisions, but no, we are a product. We are a product of our surroundings, of all that propaganda and programming which we receive from our environment. Yes, right? Yes. So now in Bhagavad Gita 269, we have this verse, you've got it on your sheet there, only the English translation. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled. And the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. Alright? So, what is Krishna saying here? Who can summarize it in his or her own words? Who wants to give it a shot? Summarize in your own words, yes? Yes.
So basically there are two things which are totally opposite to each other. So if we talk about spiritual culture, it means spiritual culture is day and spiritual culture is night.
Yes.
They don't go together.
Exactly. These two cultures, you know, what is night for all beings, obviously that is the general person, the materialist, is the awakening for the self-control, that's the spiritualist. And the time of awakening for the materialist, for all beings, is night for the introspective sage. So it means these two cultures are actually like day and night. They're so different that they're like day and night. And I remember when I joined in Sydney Temple, King's Cross Temple was in the nightlife district, surrounded by the most sinful, activities there of bars and prostitutes and discotheques and whatever not. And it was really like that. When we were going to Mongaladi at 4:30, our day was beginning and the day of the materialist was ending. They were all drunk, going home, crashing out. And that same thing in the evening, we were taking rest early, they were waking up. They were going out to enjoy and having a good time. So it's even literally like this. When the day of the materialist ends, the day of the spiritualist begins. It really is like that. So, and instead of day and night, we can put what? Up, don't look now on the materials. What can be put instead of day and night? Which terms? Good and bad. What else? Spiritual material. What else?
Goodness, ignorance.
Goodness, ignorance. Well, knowledge and ignorance. Huh? And there's another set of terms.
Illusion and reality.
Illusion and reality. Yes. So, devotee, non-devotee, materialist, spiritualist, they live in different realities. You know? What's reality for one is illusion for the other. What's knowledge for one is ignorance for the other. We often have that experience when we go in book distribution. You know, people say, you Hare Krishnas, you are escaping reality. You are in illusion. You know? And we say the same to them, you guys are escaping reality, you are in illusion. You know? Yes, yes. Yes, so that's what it is. I'm getting a little cold there. I'm hoping I will not get sick in the next few days. So this is how different these two worldviews are. They're like day and night. They're ignorance and illusion. Actually, they're incompatible. Actually. Yes. Very nicely we can imagine, here's the day of the materialist, here is the day of the spiritualist. And there's a broad spectrum in between. Right? With all different mixtures and shades and grades there. Like dusk and dawn. You know? Day and night, there is one phase where it is transition period there from day to night. So, and this is exactly what Krishna consciousness is actually meant to bring about. We are meant to transform the day of the materialist into the day of the spiritualist. The day of the materialist eventually should become our night, actually. Right? That's what Krishna consciousness is meant to bring about. We are meant to transform our likes and dislikes, our tastes, our patterns of behavior, our worldview, everything, our very heart. Right? If it doesn't do that, then our spiritual practice is damn superficial, I dare say. You know? If we hang on to all our mundane likes and dislikes and our mundane tastes oh well, then we are actually performing the 10th offense to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Right? We are actually meant to transform internally. So, you know, this is important to understand that this is what Krishna consciousness is meant to bring about. And we will see, we can in this course, sometimes we can assess ourselves. Where am I here on the spectrum? Am I still more closer to the day of the materialist? Or have I already moved to the day of the spiritualist? In a very honest and self-reflecting way, we can assess ourselves. Where am I here? Right? Yes. So one thing is, you might be aware of this, that sometimes there is a little bit of tension over this topic of culture. Where does this come from? It comes from our attempt or our misunderstanding that we want to establish what's right and what's wrong. That's the problem. Not understanding that it is all about transformation. And some people For them might be right and wrong what is closer to the day of the materialist. For another person it might be right and wrong and he's closer to the day of the spiritualist. It really depends where we are here on that spectrum. And we cannot, Krishna consciousness, spiritual life is not a question of right and wrong. What is right and wrong for one person might not be right and wrong for the other. In regards to application, in regards to culture, of course the philosophy is absolute, right? But then as we are applying it, it depends on how much we have transformed. Yes. Yes. We will discover some examples that, things what is right in Bangladesh can be seen as a big scandal in the Western world. A scandal. That's how different these two cultures are. So we cannot say what is right and what is wrong. It depends on how much we have transformed individually and collectively. Right? But at least we have to understand where we have to head towards. We have to understand Krishna's system, and in which direction we are meant to transform. And this transformation can only be inspired. It cannot be imposed. It cannot be forced on people. That's also where we often go wrong in this discussion over culture, that we're trying to force things over people. No, not possible. You can't force a transformation. It's up to every individual person how much he wants or she wants to transform. Right? Is that clear? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. Good. So, layers. Okay. So let us, just to make it a little more clear, let us collect the underlying worldviews of materialistic culture. We know it all, but just let's collect it just to be really clear in it. What is materialistic culture based on? What's the motto? Yes? Yes, I and mine. So, bodily concept of life. Basically, I am this body, gross and subtle. Right? Gross bodily concept, materialism is really geared towards satisfying all the needs of the gross body and the senses, but it is also, reinforcing subtle bodily concept of mind, intelligence, false ego, especially the false ego. Materialistic culture is geared towards blowing up and feeding the false ego. That's all what it's all about. I'm so special, unique, I'm the center, look at me. I am so extraordinary, everybody has to recognize my greatness. Yes. That's the motto of materialistic culture. Yes. What else? Yes?
You only live once.
You only live once.
Eat, drink, and be merry.
Yes. You only live once, therefore just enjoy as long as you can, and therefore no concept of purifying duties. No understanding of purifying duties. This is a really big one. It makes all the difference. If people have no understanding of purifying duties to perform in order to qualify ourselves to go somewhere else, to go back to the spiritual world, then you can just do as you like. Whatever feels good, do it, Yes, and that's the motto, There's no understanding of being responsible, for some reactions and having some influence on our future existence. Yes. What else?
I can sacrifice other people, nature, all programs of the world if I'm happy, so my happiness matters, nothing else matters.
Yes. So the goal of materialistic life is sense gratification.
exploitation.
Yes, and whenever sense gratification is the goal in life, then so many other things come. You know, competition, envy, exploitation, and. It's all following if sense gratification is the goal in life. Yes. What else? Oh, hang on. Which one is the topmost sense gratification? Out of all sense gratifications, what's the top? Yeah, sex life. That's what keeps the whole world going around and around, sex life. Very heavily propagated by materialistic culture. We will discover it in a minute. Yes. Sex life is the top enjoyment. That's the underlying worldview. What else? Couple of little ones.
Bengali it says, Poro Shuke Duki, Poro Duke Shuki. That means you get, to this culture, you get pleasure when somebody is sorry, and the other way.
You get happy when somebody else is in distress. Yeah. Well, this comes along with envy. As soon as sense gratification is the goal, then competitiveness, envy, backbiting, all this comes as a result of that. What else is the motto? Money, well, that's part of sense gratification. Money is the honey. So without money, you can't really enjoy the senses. Right? Yes. It's all part of sense gratification. What else? There's no peace of mind. Yes, but what is the underlying motto, ideology, philosophy? You're very right. There's no peace of mind. Yeah, we've said that already. Everything happens by chance, meaning there is no God. God is dead. I am God. Right? I'm the supreme controller, enjoyer, proprietor. Everything is meant for me. There is no God. Right? So that's basically the main, the main mottos.
And everything is dead matter.
Everything is dead matter, or everything comes from dead matter. Yeah, that's part of, no God, no controller, no creator. So now, spiritual culture. What's the motto of underlying worldview of spiritual culture? All we have to do is take the opposite. Serve. So, I'm not the supreme enjoyer, controller, and proprietor. But Krishna's in the center. I am not this body, not gross, not subtle. I am simply spirit, soul, humble servant. Right? Yes. So, and what else? Yes, God is the supreme authority. He is the center. The goal of life is to re-establish that relationship. Right? Self-realization. That's the goal of life. So what do we do with sense gratification and sex life in spiritual culture? Yes, we minimize it. We keep it to a bare minimum, using the senses in Krishna's service, but the goal is to lose taste for sense gratification and sex life, to give it up all completely, to replace it with a higher level of happiness. Right? Yeah, so we can already see the worldviews are 180 degrees opposite, right? Yes. Materialism is, sex life is the top, spiritual life is, well, we diminish and decrease it and give it up altogether. So, this is pretty opposite, So, what else? All we have to do is just take the opposite of what we said in materialistic culture, yeah? Yes, the understanding of purifying duties, because there's not only one life, but life is continuing in a next existence. So, and I have purifying duties to perform. That makes a huge difference. Yes. Okay. And yes, bodily concept is being reduced. Not only gross, but also subtle. You know, false ego is being reduced, dissolved, minimized. Material life, we maximize it and blow it up. Spiritual life, we subdue it. Yeah, interesting to understand that actually the only entity which rebels against spiritual culture is nothing else but the false ego. Yes. That's the only entity which does not like to accept spiritual culture. And this is very clear, you know, because materialism feeds it and blows it up, and then when all of a sudden, you know, spiritual culture is beating the ego a bit on the head, the ego will not like it. You know, the ego says, oh, hang on, you've been feeding me so nicely over so many years, so hang on, you can't do that with me, you can't just, you know, get rid of me here. You know, yeah, that's really the only entity which is rebelling. You know, so good to clearly understand these things. Okay, yeah, I think we basically got the main points there. So, yeah, I do want to go a little further before asking for some questions, if you don't mind. Let us collect just a few practical aspects of our daily life which form in culture. How is culture manifesting in our everyday life? Hang on, one after the other. What?
In the food.
Food. So there's a food culture. You know, what kind of food we eat, how we eat. There's a certain culture there. What else? Fashion. She's done the course already once before in Ukraine, so we shouldn't ask her too often to make some contribution. Yes, but fashion, how we dress. You know, this is a day-to-day thing we are confronted with, you know, and it's a very important part of culture. It sends out a certain message. Right? Yeah? What else? Our behavior, yeah, especially towards, you know, certain parts of society, behavior towards elders, behavior towards children, you know, how our elderly people viewed, how our mothers viewed, how our children viewed. Very, very different in these two cultures. Yeah, just leave the door a little open because it is jamming a bit somehow and people think it's locked or something for whoever is coming later. Yeah, so, and what else? What are the other immediate parts of culture, daily aspects? Huh? Well, we said culture comes about by living according to certain philosophy, and now we are discussing the daily aspects where culture manifests, like fashion. You know, what else is there similar to fashion? Something we are every day confronted with.
The type of employment, is it like more natural or?
Huh?
The type of employment, more natural or more technologically based?
The type of employment, yes.
Natural or technological?
Yes, also, what else? Talks, the way we communicate, about what we talk, actually that we can talk, we can categorize as recreation. You know, what do we do in our free time? You know? Yes, what else? Similar to fashion, something every day. Yes, our way of living, but now we're looking at the little areas of daily life. Yes, yes. So let's say music. What kind of music we are listening to? You know, we all like to have a little bit of music in our life. So materialistic culture, spiritual culture, music, very, very different. You know? Then what else? Something really connected with fashion. Hairstyle, yes, yes, yes. The hairstyle. It's a very, you know, relevant thing in our daily life. What kind of hairstyle we have? Huh? Very different in the two cultures. And there's so many more, you know, so many more, even medical, the approach to medical treatments in the two cultures, very different. Education, I mean, almost every part of life, you know, is, you know, can be seen in the light of these two different cultures. So I want to pick now 3 main things which are extremely relevant and practical, and just play it through as an example. How is it in materialistic culture? How is it in spiritual culture? Right? So, in materialistic culture, we can divide things under goodness, passion, ignorance. Right? So, let us take the first one. Let us take fashion. Fashion in the mode of ignorance. What does that look like? Fashion in the mode of ignorance. Yes?
Stimulates desire for sense gratification.
Yeah, I would put that more in fashion in the mode of passion. Passion. Ignorance.
Dirty.
Yes, ignorance is always dirty, neglected, you know, broken. Like these jeans with the cuts in it, you know, you buy them new, but they look like they're old or something. This is ignorance, you know. Yeah. Or, you know, these pants which, you know, hang down to the knees there or something, and you bend over and the whole backside shows or something. I mean, here in India, things are still relatively civilized, but in the West, you know, people wear all kinds of crazy stuff. Actually, the fact is, the fashion designers are running out of ideas. You know? And they always have to come up with something new, and it gets more and more crazy, actually. You know? Just to get everybody to buy the latest thing, oh my God, it's a whole thing, you know? So fashion in the mode of ignorance, dirty, neglected, broken, not fitting properly, you know? This is fashion in the mode of ignorance. So now, fashion in the mode of passion. What's that? Yes. Provocative, yes, showing off the body, trying to attract the other gender. Right? Strongly there for the ladies, but not only for the ladies. The men also have all kinds of cool things there to be attractive, you know, in material life, you know. Yeah. Yes.
Also to compete.
Yes, that's also there. Yeah, there's a whole competitiveness there. Who's got the latest cool thing and who is more sexy and, you know, showing off all the different parts of the body. We will get later more in detail to all this. Yeah, so basically we can say fashion in the mode of passion feeds the lusty desires. Right? It feeds this whole man-woman thing, because we were saying, you know, the goal of material life is sense gratification, sex life. So that's what the whole fashion is heavily propagating. Right? And not only gross, but also subtle. I'm so special and unique and extraordinary, look at me. You know, all these name brands that people wear and pay big money just to have the latest Gucci thing or whatever, you know. I'm not up to date with all these things, but there's so much nonsense out there, you know. I mean, I have relatives in Germany, they pay 2,000 euros just for some jumper or something, you know. They don't know what to do with their money, and it's all name brand, and it's all false ego thing. Oh, look at me at the next party, I'm going to wear this, and, you know, yeah, it's all madness, you know, yeah. And it's coming into India too, I've been told. I've given these courses also in South India, Coimbatore, Bangalore. And people were telling me there, the Indian ladies don't want their handbags made in India anymore. They want all the imported stuff and the name brands and all this, you know. Right? Is it true? Maybe. Yes. Yes. Okay, so now, fashion in the mode of goodness. What's that? Fashion and the mode of goodness. First thing clearly, yes.
Traditional classical dress.
Yes, we have these, you know, these traditional costumes, these folklore things, and more globally.
Well, for women, it's like feminine, but not provocative. You know, like there's a fashion monsters, all those things.
Yes.
Just quite
Yes, for the women, feminine but not provocative. So it basically means body nicely covered. Any of you knows the Laura Ashley fashion? Laura Ashley? Anybody heard of Laura Ashley? Nobody? You have. Yeah. America, Australia, London, they have these Laura Ashley shops. You know, it's the fashion like 100 years ago or something for the ladies. All the blouses are buttoned up with frilly little things around the collar, you know, all neat and long skirts and so on, you know. So it's and little floral designs and all neat and cute and pucker, you know. And for the man, it also just simple, neat, clean, you know. That's mode of goodness.
Bill Cosby.
Huh?
Bill Cosby.
Bill Crosby. Yeah, I've vaguely heard from him. Don't know exactly what he's doing, but anyway. In India, I would, for the ladies, I would count the Punjabi suit under the fashion in the mode of goodness, but only if it's not too provocative, you know. These days the Punjabi suits have turned into something else, into the fashion and the mode of passion, you know, the really tight leggings and the little top there open up to the waist on the side. So this is not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about the Punjabis with the baggy pants and the long top and so on, you know, how it used to be 10-15 years ago, you know. Yeah, so that is also fashion in the mode of goodness, yes.
In more general terms, modest, very normal, neutral colors.
Yeah, there can be nice colors, but nothing loud and
Not flashy.
flashy and attracting attention and so on, you know. And definitely not showing off the body in any way. So now, what's the transcendental fashion? For the ladies, for the men? Dhoti and sari, topmost transcendental fashion. You know, because that's what Lord Chaitanya wore dhoti, Sachimada wore sari in the spiritual world. That's most likely what we are wearing there. Krishna wears a dhoti. But hang on, it's not the only transcendental fashion. Let's be a little broader. Any fashion which actually reminds of God can be counted as transcendental fashion. So even the nun's uniform, right? It reminds everybody of God, of Jesus, you know? Yes. And more closely, you will find the same principles there in the nun's outfit than in a sari, actually. body nicely covered, head is covered, even the back is covered also. You know, all that is in the nun's outfit also there. Right? So actually any spiritual culture, any religion has their spiritual fashion for the men as well as for the women. Actually, in no spiritual culture where the men are taking things really seriously, they're wearing pants and shirts. So interesting to understand. They all have some kind of robes. Right? Yes, some kind of robes. Buddhist, Christian, Muslims, you know. Pants and shirt immediately gets us more on the bodily platform. Right? As soon as, even for the ladies too, as soon as we squeeze ourselves there in tight jeans, we immediately think of our body, or what do I look like? Maybe I'm too fat, maybe better to lose some weight here, and is this the latest cut? And immediately the mind is thinking of the body. Huh? So spiritual fashion is meant to really reduce bodily identification, gross and subtle. Yes, it really works, definitely. Yes, that's why we are meant to wear devotional clothes. It helps us to get off the bodily platform, and it helps us to reduce this man-woman attraction there. Right? So let's quickly move on to the hairstyle. Hairstyle in materialistic fashion, hairstyle in the mode of ignorance. What does that look like?
Long rasta.
Huh?
Long rasta, like not organized, like.
Not organized. Yeah, dreadlocks, for example. Unless it's a sadhu, we're not talking about Madhava's Prabhu Sika or something. We're not going to talk about that. But just, you know, matted, unwashed, unclean, you know. Yes. And what else? What other examples do we have?
Out of bed. Like
Huh?
hairstyles out of bed that you make your hair look like all this. It's not like, you know, loose hair but nice, but like you make as if you're just out of bed. So
As if you're just getting up from bed. Yeah, well, or more clearly put, the punk hairstyles. Huh? Punk, standing on end, all crazy things there, pink, purple, red, green, you know? Yeah, this is mode of ignorance. Again, people run out of ideas. They have to, by hook or by crook, be different and recognized and standing out. So that's why the hairstyle also gets more and more crazy. Right? That's mode of ignorance. So then hairstyle, mode of passion. What does that look like? Long hair for the ladies and open hair, because hair is very sensual, very attractive to men. So displaying the beauty of your hair, this is mode of passion there, you know. It attracts the other gender.
I think that long hair itself is more of goodness for a woman, but if it is loose, it's
Yes, the loose thing, exactly.
but
The,
long hair is
yes, very true. Yes. You meant for men. Oh, well, for men these days, there are also other ways of having a hairstyle, the mode of passion. You know, what kind of things they also do with some hair creams, you know, make it stand on end and curling and, oh my God, you know, it has become the whole fashion in the last 5-6 years or something it started, right? At least in Germany and countries like that, you know, the men also do all kinds of stuff there in their hair, just to look cool and attractive. Okay, so now, hairstyle in the mode of goodness. What's that? Goodness for the women, for the men. Goodness? Huh? Yeah, so what exactly? Yes, to put together. Right? Either in a plait or in a knot or something. hair put together, that's in the mode of goodness. You know, that is not calling out for attraction and attention. Or for the men, just short, neat, plain, simple, nothing cool and fancy there, you know, but just simple, practical, like that. Right? So now, transcendental hairstyle, what's that? Yes?
Gone.
For the men, gone, no more hair, shaved. I mean, most spiritual cultures, the men have short hair or shaved. Alright, sometimes Christians have long hair of Jesus or something. Alright, but in most spiritual cultures it is short. And even for women also can be short, shaved. And for women in the renounced order, they're short. But for women who are not in the renounced order, what's the transcendental hairstyle? Covered, yes. Yes. And that we find in all spiritual cultures, we will see that the women cover their head. Even in Ukraine, Russian Orthodox Church, you can't enter a church if you don't have something on your head. Even if it's symbolic, just a little handkerchief or something. Yeah? They're much more strict than we are. Let's say. Yeah, the nuns, we said, have something, you know. So we find this in all spiritual cultures, that the head of the women is covered just to reduce this man-woman attraction. You know, that's the common principle. Right? So let's quickly go through the last example of music. Music in the mode of ignorance. Huh? Yeah, rock. You could put that in the mode of passion. What's ignorance? Maybe in India. No, yes, in India you also have it now. Every Friday evening we hear it here, right?
Every day.
Every day.
Techno.
So, what is it?
Violent, angry.
Yes, violent, angry, loud. You know, not even a proper melody. It's just rhythm and noise. Yeah, no music, no tune, no words, nothing, just loud and noisy. You know? That's ignorance. Techno. Right? You know what techno music is? Unfortunately, yes. Yeah, so then, music in the mode of passion. What's that? That's rock and roll. Yes, it advertises, it promotes sex life actually. I love you, you love me, I cannot live without you. You know? Yeah, that's what it's all about. You know? Yeah. Rock music, not only rock music, in India we have cinema music, Bollywood. Oh my God. You know? This is really music in the mode of passion, yeah. Oh, so silly, so sickening, you know. Oh, I can't stand it, you know. Yeah, so just propagating the whole man-woman thing, you know. So now music in the mode of goodness, what's that?
Ragas, classical music.
Yes, classical music. There also, every country has its classical music. Like in Europe and Germany, you have all these classical composers, Beethoven, Mozart, Haydn, and you know, or here you have all the tabla and sitar and flute, and so, you know, this kind of music promotes the mode of goodness, right? Yeah. So, and then transcendental music, what's that? Please don't close the door. Mataji, hey, leave it a little open because it is hard to open properly. So, transcendental music, what's that? Kirtan. Kirtan is definitely the topmost transcendental music, which promotes us to Vrindavan. But it's not the only transcendental music. Let's be a little broad and open. You know? Every spiritual culture has their own transcendental music, glorifying God. Right? Yes. Like before I became a devotee, I was singing in a church choir, in a Christian church choir in Germany. Definitely a spiritual experience if you sing in a really beautiful old church, and all these, these church music composers, Bach, Brahms, the words are all from the Bible. I mean, it is, we can't deny it is a spiritual experience, but not as high level as Kirtan. Does not promote us to Galaka Vrindavan. Maximum maybe to the Vaikuntha planets if we are lucky, and we follow all different rules and regulations. But Maha Mantra gets us to the topmost spiritual place. But any spiritual culture, even the Muslims chanting their namas there, this is also spiritual sound, glorifying God. We remember God when we hear. So we can't think that only we devotees have spiritual culture or something. We have to be a little broad, and ultimately we have to understand that all spiritual cultures actually come from Vaishnava culture. The world was one kingdom, Pitu Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj. They were ruling the world. There was Sanatana Dharma, was the world religion. And then as that one kingdom broke up, that's when Sanatana Dharma developed in different ways in different parts of the world. Right? And that's how all the religions came about. So no wonder that we do still find common roots, because they all come from Sanatana Dharma. Right? Right. So, I mean, after playing through these examples, we can already clearly see that if we want to seriously progress in spiritual life, very helpful if we surround ourselves by as many aspects of spiritual culture as possible. Right? Is that clear? Yes, because they promote that worldview which we are trying to develop. And the more we are hanging on to elements of materialistic culture, that will pull us away, that will pull us away from Krishna consciousness, basically. And it promotes the opposite worldview. It's very clear. Once we go through the whole game here, it becomes very clear. So ultimately, as we said before, these two cultures are incompatible. And Krishna consciousness is meant to bring that transformation. So that the day of the materialist becomes our night, sooner or later. Now, let me see. Yes. Do you want to have first a 10-minute break? And then ask some questions? Yeah? Some are nodding their heads here. Okay, let's make a 10-minute break. But please don't leave, because after the break, we're already going to start one of the controversial issues, are men and women equal? So now this was just the introduction here, so then it becomes more interesting, So please hang around, stretch your arms and legs for 10 minutes, and to be continued.